Hey CyChron News, I'm Shannon Sheehan here with Ivan Kozlov. So he's going to talk about his experience as a foreign exchange student real quick.
So I'm an exchange student in here, Pueblo West. I'm originally from Ukraine, the city of Brovary. In Ukrainian, we say Brovary, but it's very close to Kiev, the capital of Ukraine. It's about actually about half of an hour ride, so it's pretty close. But I've been here since August 18th, and I'm here for one academic year. So yeah.
So I guess this brings us to the topic of the war that just started in Ukraine. It started today at 5 a.m. in Ukraine. Russia moved in. They started bombing Kyiv. Pronounced that wrong.
Kyiv.
Thank
Yeah.
you. So do you want to talk about, did you expect that to happen, and how was your family throughout all of this?
We were kind of fearing of this for quite a long time. Since the war has been going on for 8 years, it's been in eastern Ukraine, but lately, since the April of last year, Russia has been drawing military forces to our border. And the concerning thing was that not only they were drawing forces to eastern part of Ukraine, the direct border between Ukraine and Russia, they've been deploying their troops to Crimea, the occupied peninsula in Ukraine, and Belarus, which was really unexpected move because even though Russia has big influence in Belarus and their politics, it was really weird that Russian troops came to Ukraine from Belarusian side. But the bombing started from destroying military bases and airports. The main reason for that was to destabilize Ukrainian army. It was unexpected at first, but then for civil people. But as we got to know later, Department of Intelligence of Ukraine got information the day before about the supposed invasion. It was planned for 4 a.m., so they were expecting an hour earlier. But as soon as Russian President Putin announced that he declares a special military operation on Ukrainian territories, they started air striking our military bases and airplanes and airports. One of them was in my city too, in Brovary. 7 people died and 17 people got injured just from a single airstrike. They also were bombing not only eastern Ukraine, but military bases and airports throughout the whole country, on the south and center and north, east and west, everywhere. And that was pretty unexpected. And not only military troops died, but some civilians were injured and died too.
So speaking of all the civilians that have been part of this, I know that your country really wants to stand up for itself. Do you think people are going to be fighting on the streets to keep their country and to protect their towns and their main cities?
Partially, yes. Ukrainians are a really patriotic nation, and right now so many people are getting to become volunteers in our military now that Russian forces are invading Ukraine. And I know that mobilizing troops in Ukraine starts since the age of 18. So I know some people that were studying in university but decided to volunteer for army. And that's really frightening, honestly, to think about because young people go for war that doesn't, in my opinion, have any sense. Because the way Russian president puts it, the reasoning for that is just, it doesn't make any sense to me. He says that he wanted to liberate the eastern territories of Ukraine from our Kiev Nazi regime. So, and that's really weird because we fought in World War II all together in Red Army. We were like part of Soviet Union, and now he calls us Nazis, which is really offensive. But not only that, he started invasion in Eastern Europe, just like he was planning to. But he also came to north and to south of Ukraine, which means that it's a full-scale war against Ukraine.
Yeah, so with your family being there and all, how does that impact the dynamics? Are you able to go back? How are you communicating with them? How are they doing?
the only way for us to communicate was through the WhatsApp and social media, because the system of communication, the general calling in Ukraine, the one that my parents use, it's down because Russia is very well known for its hybrid war, and one of the things that they did, they hacked the company that has been providing calling services. But it's been really stressful to think that my family is there and I'm across the ocean here in the US, and I'm really don't have that many options of how to help them. So, but they are really happy that I'm here in a safe place, one of the safest places possible. But they are ready to pack their things and go to cellar to hide in case Russian troopers will invade our city.
So you mentioned being able to use WhatsApp and whatnot. I know there's things like Telegram and Disjoint that other people in Ukraine are using.
Yes.
But also there were cybersecurity attacks in Ukraine that Russia did before the military attacks. What all do you know about that?
So in 2014, they made an attack called Virus Petya that basically damaged most of the governmental structures and big companies in Ukraine. The last one happened just a couple of months ago, and basically what happened is that Russian hackers they intruded in our governmental websites and some of companies. One of the companies was the company that my mom works at, which provides insurance for international clients in Ukraine. But yeah, they recovered though, but who knows what information Russian soldiers could acquire from that hacker attack.
So I know right now we're focused on Ukraine with the war, but do you think it could spread to areas like Belarus, Georgia, and Moldova, I believe it is below you? Do you think it would spread past those borders?
There is definitely a possibility for that. However, just like I mentioned, Russia has really big influence on Belarus, and when Belarus wanted to do the first ever true election in their country, Russian military joined Belarus military to calm down the peaceful protests. So they were using military against peaceful protesters. So I don't really know about Belarus because Russian military came from there too. But in terms of Romania and Poland, the opportunity still remains possible because Romania and Poland are allies of NATO. They are part of NATO. Ukraine, on the other hand, is not. And that's the main reason why President Biden and some leaders of European countries said that they will not fight Russians on Ukrainian territory, because it can potentially lead to World War III. It will be an international conflict. But in case Russia invades Ukraine, gets control over Ukraine, and proceeds further into Europe, I believe that NATO will defend every inch of their territory with all the might they have.
Yeah, that's very true. So also, why do you think people should know about everything happening in Ukraine with Russia and whatnot?
I think it's important for people here in the US and just in the world know what's happening, because it really impacts all the nations. Starting from the prices that rise up for gas and oil to just understanding that thousands of people are dying right now in other parts of the world. My friends and people that I know are damaged. Some of them get injured, and the war is going on right now in my country. So I think it's important for people to just understand the importance of this conflict, and that it's not only somewhere there, far away, for people that we don't know, but it also really reflects on me too. So.
Yeah, that's something that we don't understand here in America. It really doesn't impact us as much as someone like you who's from Ukraine and you're here in a different kind of perspective than the rest of us. And I liked how you mentioned that it's not just within that border, it can spill past, and there's so many other effects like inflation. Before there's actually a pipeline that was supposed to connect between Russia and Germany has cut that off now. And so have you seen any support from other areas in Europe for Ukraine? Like what kind of support have you seen for Ukraine?
Well, in terms of the pipeline, it was really important for Russian economy because it provided gas to European countries. And interesting that Germany was in fact really reliant on that gas. Now that Russia declared war on Ukraine, um, Germany refused to buy gas from Russia and decided to find other suppliers. Another support from different countries, including the US, is funding of our military, providing military training for our troopers, and also providing military equipment to our army, which has been really helpful now in time of war.
So is there any message that you want to convey throughout all of this that you want people to know?
I just would like people to understand that there was no reason for war. Ukraine wants peace. Ukraine is a peaceful nation, and we didn't start the war, but we will do our best to end the war.
Alright, that's all the questions we have for you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.